Hey guys, it's your favorite holistic wellness and life coach, Holistic Niche. Lost another nail today, one other one bites the dust. Listen, I was going to take my scarf off and let my hair flourish, but I didn't feel like it. I'm sitting in the house today and I just simply didn't feel like it. Forget it. I teach being true to yourself anyway, so you're gonna get all of this authentically me, okay? Okay? So, today's topic, we're going to talk about me. I want you guys to get to know me and the reason why I did this, the reason why I chose to become a holistic wellness and life coach. So, if you want to sit here and listen to me talk about myself, then come on, come on. But anyway, so it all started. My undergrad is in psychology, so I do have a bachelor's in psychology. Because my hopes and dreams was to become a therapist. I wanted to be a counselor. From at a young age, somebody told me that I was going to be a counselor because I'm a good listener and things like that. Somebody just randomly came up to me, but that's a whole different story. So I was like, okay. So at first, I was going to school for nursing because I wanted to do nursing because I worked in a hospital. And yeah, no, nursing didn't work out for me. So instead of going to nursing school, I took all those credits that I took and it transitioned into psychology and it worked out well. Graduated and I did all my coursework and everything like working with children. So my internships were working with children and mental illness and things like that. So like my whole career, from graduating college up until now, has been working with children that has ADHD, major depression, and all these type of diagnoses. So as I moved out of one state and moved to another state, I worked in hospice care. I enjoyed it. I worked as a volunteer coordinator, so I was on the happy side of it, recruiting volunteers and things like that. And I was able to sit down with a lot of caregivers and hear their story and hear where they needed help and how things can be prevented. So, after I graduated college, I was an English teacher for high school students. Okay, that's a whole different breed. Them high school students, and I was a little young too. That was a whole different breed. Anyway, so hospice care. I've always practiced yoga and meditation. I've always practiced that. I grew up as a preacher's daughter. Yes, I am a PK, but you would never know that when I was growing up. Growing up, like my parents divorced at the age of 8. So, and I'm the oldest out of 3 children. So, I remember a lot of things, and a lot of things damaged me. I had to, most like 90% of the time, had to raise myself. Like literally, I literally had to raise myself. About self care. When I first started my menstrual cycle, my mom didn't tell me anything. I had to go to my next door neighbor, and she taught me how to, you know, take all those precautions. When it comes to sex, nobody talked to me about that. When it came to real life situations, um, it took a whole toll on me because I had to learn everything by myself, and everything took me the long route than the hard route. So as a result, I became depressed. I became I didn't know my worth. So it was a lot. I partied. I was the party girl. I was the person. So growing up in like middle school, high school, I was always like had low self-worth. So I was really quiet, really shy. You wouldn't even know I was in the room. As I got older, as an adult, I became a toxic friend, and people didn't know I was toxic because I was the fun toxic. I was functionally depressed. Let me tell you how functionally depressed I was. My depressed came out as always wanting to have fun, always doing something, always in the streets, always and and then when I go home, I'm drunk. I'm crying my eyes out, like balled up in the corner crying and wondering why nobody loves me, wondering why things are going so bad, why bad things always happen to me, wondering why I'm by myself in this world. I was married at 21, divorced at, how was I, 28, 29? Somewhere around there. I was divorced and wondering why nobody loves me. Didn't financially, it was really rough. I had to literally, my life was a constant start over. Constantly. A constant start over. A constant, I'm always all over the place. Made a lot of mistakes. Didn't care if I lived or died. I just didn't care. I felt alone. I wanted to be alone, but I wanted to be in crowds. It was like when I was in the crowds, I still felt like I was by myself. I still felt like my life was just lonely and empty and no purpose. So after I got divorced, got engaged again. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did that. Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that. It was just the emptiness. The purpose of feeling it loved. Anybody that loved me, I gravitated to that. Anybody who allowed me to a little bit be not the strong one all the time, I gravitated to that. Because I'm always the strong one. I keep telling y'all that, but it's true. So, that obviously didn't work out. Because I did a lot of fucked up shit. Sorry, guys. I did a lot of effed up stuff. A lot of effed up stuff. And that left me, that my divorce stripped me of myself. And then now reflecting is probably like a rebound. And like I said, I just gravitated to people who love me. But my divorce stripped me. When I tell you it stripped me, I drank all day, every day. I woke up wanting something to drink. Literally, vodka, mimosas, anything. I had to have a drink. I lost like 10 to 15 pounds in 1 week. I wasn't eating, but I was partying a lot. So people thought I was just fine. People thought everything was fine. Nobody knew. Maybe a couple of people knew. But if I showed that type of weakness towards some people, people would look at me like, what's wrong with you? You know? But divorce, life after divorce, it just feels like a death. That's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that later. But it took something out of me, or now that I think of it, hindsight, it allowed me to become myself. Because in my marriage, I totally identified as him. Like, we did everything. Like, he was my best friend. But, that's that. So, the reason why I became a health coach, because I realized what you eat, what you think about, is who you become. And as far as the life coaching part of it, if I had somebody to coach me through life and not judge me, not expecting me to be strong all the time, I think my life would be a lot better. Life brings you hardships and everything, but a lot of people tell you it's like how you get through them. And I never had the opportunity to get through it. It was just like I walked through the water, drowned, and figured out how to swim, but still was going through the water. It's like I was still swimming in ocean, still swimming, and I learned how to swim because that was that. But I'm still walking in water and falling and sinking. I believe like if I had a coach or someone a mentor. Sorry, y'all, the sun is coming out really strong. A mentor or someone who I can just call and have a session and be like, hey, and without feeling stupid, like, how do you budget? How am I supposed to get through life as a freshman? I was the first generation college graduate. Nobody knew. Nobody knew about the loans. Nobody knew about budgeting and how, because they probably was just floating above water also. So if only I had a coach. So that is why I became a holistic wellness. The holistic wellness is the way you eat, the way you live. I'm very educated on chronic illnesses and disease. I'm sorry, y'all, that was a B. Chronic illnesses and diseases. I'm knowledgeable on those. I know how the body systems work. And then the life coaching part of it, I didn't want to do therapy because a lot of people just don't want to sit on the couch and talk about the past all the time. Again, therapy is very good for you. That's a whole different story, but therapy is great. But sometimes you just really need a real life person next to you and be like, what you doing? Stop that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know? Or do it this way instead of, taking a life coach job. The difference between a life coach and a therapist. It's a wraparound care, so it's all working together. But a therapist digs deeper into your past. It helps you develop great characteristics on how to become a great person. It helps you to dig deeper inside yourself and figure out how to heal those wounds. Life coaching helps you on the day-to-day. So life coaching allows you to apply those things that everybody has told you and apply them to your real life. And I am a holistic coach to coach you through that. Like, your assignment was to journal every day. So I would coach you through how to journal and things to do. If only I had somebody your parents can do so much. Your friends can only do so much because your friends is probably your own peers, so they're trying to figure out life themselves. If only I had somebody to sit down and give me the time, you know? If only. That is the reason why I became a life coach, a holistic wellness and life coach. Because I can provide to you the mind, body, and spirit. Support, accountability, all of that. Some people need to be held accountable. Some people always blame others. And, I'll be like, you can't blame me on this one because this is all you. This is all your work. So, that's the story in a nutshell. It's a long story, but I don't like talking for long because people get bored after a while. So, see you guys later.